What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy TreJuanJohnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just please make sure you keep those comments respectful. And if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcast, yours truly, Cash App will be in the episode description. But that is also hash or $ TREJUAN Johnson. Um, but also we'll have that in the episode description. So I appreciate everybody that supports the show in that regard. But here's the thing, man. And sorry if I get the background. My wife is watching Stranger Things. She's into it now, and she's trying to get caught up before we start season 5 tomorrow. But um, so you guys might hear that in the background. But wanted to make this show FCS centric. For those that don't know, FCS is a subdivision of NCAA football, where they have a playoff system that the FBS is trying to emulate, but doesn't even come remotely close. But the FCS has its own issues to a degree that I think people don't realize. But I will let you guys know that it is a 2014 playoff. The top 8 seeds get a bye, and then the other 16 they play in a first round matchup, which then goes into I think it will be the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, then the obviously championship game, if my math is correct. Um, so yeah, you go from 24 to 16, 16 to 8, 8 to 4, whatever. You get the picture. So, going to talk a little bit about the first round matchups. Obviously, going to include the top 8 seeds and what were some of my thoughts on that. Got my notes to the side, so if you guys see me looking, um, it's because of that. And so let's kind of talk about our top 8 seeds a little bit. Number one overall seed, no surprise, defending champion North Dakota State Bison, undefeated season, 12-0, looking to repeat as champions. Wasn't really a surprise. You guys probably remember an episode I did maybe a few months ago, and I was just talking about the playoff system and how people are begging for the FBS to grow their playoff system as if that will allow more parity. And I kind of went on a breakdown of how while the FCS has added more teams in terms of the parity of who's going to be the national champion at the end of the day, more times than not in that system, it has been North Dakota State to win it and win it quite handedly. I think they've had two three-peats, if not three three-peats in that span of time since we went to 2014. So clearly not the parity that you think it is, but at the same time, it does give multiple teams an opportunity to vie for a national championship. Which, if that's what you're selling me, then I can buy that. More teams in the dance with an opportunity, but no surprise, North Dakota State is back at the top. Number 2 seed Montana State at 10-2. Um, they lost a really good quarterback last year in Tommy Mellett and started the season 0-2 this year, but um, made their way back, ended up winning their conference, and they are one of the top 8 seeds. Then you got the Montana Grizzlies. Look, it's going to be a lot of the teams in that Montana Dakota range. They just tend to own the FCS in terms of fielding top teams every year. I think a lot of that is because they are the only ones in their area. They don't really have a big school that they're competing against from a recruitment standpoint, where you have some schools in Texas and Louisiana and Georgia, so on and so forth, that are competing against some of the bigger institutions in their state. A lot of these programs don't necessarily have that. And I think the Montanas and the Dakotas are a perfect example of that. Number 4, Tarleton State. Speaking of a Texas school, had a really great season, 11-1 on the year. They've been kind of balling. They're right down the street from me, essentially. But coming off their best season since moving up from D2. And look, they've gotten the resources. They've had a few upset wins this year, beat a really good Army team at that time, but we've seen Army fall off a little bit. Um, they're doing really good though. So they're the 5 seed, and this is their second ever FCS playoff berth. So this is an awesome opportunity for them. And getting a bye shows how far that program has grown. Then we got the Lehigh Mountain Hawks coming in at 12-0. Really good season for them. Um, They're in the Patriot League, so they're the Patriot League champion, and this is um, the first time in their school history that they are a top 8 seed. So um, really good for their program and where they're trying to go. They're led by a triple threat rushing attack: Luke Yoder, Jaden Green, Hayden Johnson. Average over 430 yards a game, almost 34 points a game. So they're definitely putting some points on the board, despite being a really good rushing attack. You usually think they're going to be in the low to mid 20s, kind of draining the clock a little bit, but they've done really well. And this is their first home playoff game since 2004, which is really exciting for them. So credit to Lehigh and their fans. Mercer, for those of you guys that don't know, I used to stay 30 minutes from Macon for 4 years out of Millsville, Georgia. So very familiar with the Mercer Bears. During my time there, I knew them to be a basketball school, even growing up. The only reason why I even knew about Mercer was because they were a basketball school. Well, they are not just a basketball school anymore. Mercer has definitely put themselves in position to be in the conversation year in, year out, as a really good football program in the SoCon Conference or Southern Conference, led by a really good quarterback in Braden Atkinson. Um, but we'll see how they do. And again, Mercer is doing some really good things. Has to get to play them next year, so really gonna be watching them, see how they do. Number 7, the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks, SFA. Now this was a surprise to me, not because SFA is a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, coming out of the Southland Conference where they were the outright champion. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Coach Cartho, who used to coach at the institution I work at now. So definitely kind of a you know you know, coaching a conference rival, that type of thing. You guys know how I am. If it ain't ET or Southeastern, I really want every program to lose. But SFA did their thing this year. Now, I didn't think that they would have a bye. The strength of schedule comes into play a little bit for me. Had a couple Division II schools on their roster, on their schedule, and so didn't think that they would get a bye just from a strength of schedule standpoint. But I did think they would get a home game for sure. But played their behinds off all year, won a really tough Southland Conference. I told you guys this ain't your daddy's or your granddaddy's Southland Conference, and that is evident with 3 teams from the Southland Conference making it to the FCS playoffs. And I'll get to the other 2 in a second, especially when we're doing prediction breakdowns. But shout out to SFA and definitely getting us a bye. I know UIW had a bye last week or last year too. And so 2 years in a row for certain, having your conference champion have a bye week um, in the FCS playoffs shows the growth of the conference. So shout out to Commissioner Chris Grant, all the ADs and their leadership, and obviously our head coaches and their leadership into making this conference what it is. Because I remember a time and place where if you were the Southland Conference champion, you got a home game. That was what you got. You got a home game, but you didn't really get a bye week. And so um, for not to just have 3 teams in, but to have one of those teams have a bye week. I think that's a good showing of where this conference has gone and where it is and where it's trying to go. The number 8, the UC Davis Aggies, really good program out of the Big Sky. Um, so they came up short in their conference championship, but you know, still a really good team, and um, they're rewarded with the bye. So we'll see how they do. So those are your top 8. They're off this week. They're not playing this weekend or this Thanksgiving weekend. So don't be looking for them on TV. They ain't there. They are uh, eating some good turkey and ham and all the fixings, but also getting prepared to host some opponents coming in. So let's kind of go down the line of the first round matchups, right? You got the Illinois State Redbirds going to visit my alma mater, Southeastern Louisiana. I'm in Hammond, America. Southeastern is a 16 seed or is the 16 seed in the playoffs. Then you got the Yale Bulldogs against the number 15 Youngstown State Penguins. You have the New Hampshire Wildcats going against the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, who finished 8-4 on the year. You got the North Dakota Hawks, who are 7-5. Which look, people keep bitching about the FBS and the types of teams that can get in because they're assuming that, oh well, if you add more teams, you might let more 8 and 9 win teams in. as opposed to where it is now. You got a 7-win team, and I know the strength of schedule and all that type of stuff. A 7-win team just made it to a playoff. That's insane to me. I don't quite get it. I didn't think that was possible, but it is what it is. And they're going against the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles team, whose only loss was to an FBS SEC University of Kentucky. So undefeated in the FCS ranks, a Big South OVC title. Um, they don't get a bye. Honestly, I thought that was going to be a team that got a bye over an SFA, but the committee thought different. And like I said, it's kind of weird to me. I thought they deserved the bye, given that they finished undefeated in their FCS schedule. But it is what it is. Um, Harvard, by the way, the Ivy League is in the playoffs for the first time. So this is the first year they decided to compete in the FCS playoffs. Harvard and Yale made it, but Harvard will be going on the road to the Villanova Wildcats. Um, then you got the Drake Bulldogs, who will be visiting the South Dakota Coyotes. Then you have Lamar, another Southland Conference team, who has a big win over the number 4 team in the nation at one point in time, which was the University of South Dakota, I believe is who they beat. They're going to be on the road against Abilene Christian, the ACU Wildcats. So that's going to be a good matchup. Then you got Central Connecticut going over to the Rhode Island Rams. And I think that's it. So just so you guys know, the Illinois State matchup versus Southeastern, the winner of that matchup is going to play North Dakota State, the defending champs. The winner of Yale and Youngstown State, they will play Montana State. Then you have New Hampshire, South Dakota. That winner will face Montana. North Dakota, Tennessee Tech. That winner will face Tarleton State. Harvard and Villanova. That winner will face Lehigh. Drake and South Dakota. They'll face Mercer. Okay. Lamar and Abilene Christian will go to face SFA. Central Connecticut and Rhode Island, they will face UC Davis. So that's a little bit about the bracket. And so, with that being said, I want to go ahead and do my predictions. You always have to write it down to keep myself honest. So that way, if I'm right, I can come back and say I told you so. And if I'm wrong, I can just rip the piece of paper out and throw it away. So here's the thing. I will tell you a few caveats. I'm very Southland Conference based. I graduated, got both of my degrees from a Southland Conference institution. Met my beautiful wife, who has multiple degrees. I won't even go into it. She's about to have 6 degrees. What is that? 4 of which are from my alma mater, Southeast Louisiana. So while I'm very Southland Conference biased because I've got my degrees from there, I work at a Southland Conference institution. I'm very Southeastern Louisiana University biased. So take that with a grain of salt. Um, and we'll go from there. So you'll see that a lot of it for me, I watch a good bit of SES football, but not as much as I would like to. So there's going to be people who are part of some of these fan bases that are like, there's no way it'd be a cold day in hell before this team beats this team. But guess what? That's where you can educate me on where I'm wrong. Please keep it respectful. But my predictions are my predictions. Make your own predictions and tell me why you make your predictions. And look, there are multiple podcasts out there that I know that I follow that follow FCS religiously. They don't follow any other division. This is their baby. They know the ins and outs, and I will encourage you to go out and seek and Google and YouTube and all these different things. If you have little knowledge about the FCS ranks, you have until Saturday to get your behind on the web, find these podcasts, get in the know. So if you're going to be sitting and watching them on Saturday, which I know some of you FBS heads, you're gonna be so focused on what's going on with, you know, Georgia and Georgia Tech and the Iron Bowl, which I'm gonna watch the Iron Bowl, but my team will have already played. Just want you to know that. Um, what's going on with the game, right? Ohio State versus Michigan, all these things. You're not going to be paying attention to little old FCS. But if you are a football junkie, college football junkie like myself, at that, you will find a way to watch multiple FBS and FCS games. And so, if you are not in the know with the FCS ranks, they're a podcast. You got to Saturday. Get on it. Um, there'll be people that can lead you much better than I can, right? But let's go. Let's go with these first round matchups. Southeastern facing Illinois State. Y'all know I'm going SLU, right? Like we know this, right? I'm going. Let me see. I'm going SLU over Illinois State. Then, then Rhode Island versus Central Connecticut. Now, I was looking at this and probably want to go Central Connecticut, but I'm gonna stick with the home team on this one. Like I don't think this side of the bracket is going to have many upsets. So I'm gonna go Rhode Island over Central Connecticut. All right. So that means in uh in the second round, there would be SLU versus North Dakota State and Rhode Island versus UC Davis. All right. Now let's go on the other side of the bracket. Okay. South Dakota State versus New Hampshire. I'll take South Dakota State in that one. I guess I'm a little South Dakota or Dakota based as well in this because there are teams that I've paid attention to maybe the most. So I'm going to go with them a lot more times than not. Um, and so I'm going to go with the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State there. And then in the South Dakota versus Drake bracket, I'll go South Dakota. So um, that'll be my matchups there, which will then set up South Dakota State versus Montana and South Dakota on the road versus Mercer. Okay. Then I'm going to go in Harvard versus Villanova. I'll take Harvard in that one. And then in Tennessee Tech versus North Dakota. And look, I know I said that I'm very Dakota biased, but I'm not going to be Dakota biased in this one. I feel like North Dakota shouldn't be in, and I feel that Tennessee Tech should be having a bye right now. And I think Tennessee Tech is one of the best teams at the FCS ranks. Um, ran from yours truly in week one. Talk about that. Um, or in week three, I guess, would be our home opener. But they ran, but I still got a level of respect for them. Uh, one of my good friends is one of the head athletic trainers there. So shout out to Maggie. And good luck to y'all. But yeah, I said Harvard over Villanova. I'll say take Tennessee Tech over Notre Dame. And so that was set up Harvard. Jesus Christ, these pins, man. Harvard versus Lehigh and Tennessee Tech versus Tarleton. Then I got ACU versus Lamar. And then I got Youngstown State versus Yale. I'll take Lamar over ACU, which would set up Lamar versus SFA. And I'll take Youngstown versus Montana State. So let me make sure. All right. So look, I got Southeastern versus North Dakota State. North Dakota State, undefeated, never lost, defending champs. I now want to pick my school. I really want to pick my school. I promise I'll make this up to you guys in a donation. But I gotta go North Dakota State on this one. I gotta go with history on that side. I gotta go North Dakota State on this one. Mm, fuck it. I changed my mind. I'm going Southeastern. Line the fuck up. We're going Southeastern on that one. Um, and I will go UC Davis or Rhode Island, which would set up SLU versus UC Davis. All right. Then we got I'll take South Dakota State over New Hampshire, and I will take South Dakota um, over Drake. Wait, I'm tripping. Sorry, looking at the wrong thing. South Dakota State versus Montana. I will take Montana over South Dakota State, and I will take Mercer over Montana. So that's setting up Montana versus Mercer. All right. Harvard, or let me see. Then we got Harvard versus Lehigh, Tennessee Tech versus Tarleton. I will take Harvard, and I will take Tennessee Tech. So that's going to be Harvard versus Tennessee Tech, and I will take Lamar over SFA, and I will take Montana State over Youngstown State. So that would be Lamar versus Montana State. Okay, now we get to who's going to be in my semis, right? Southeastern versus UC Davis. I don't know if you guys know, but Southeastern has the Defensive Player of the Year and the Player of the Year who also happens to play defense in the Southland Conference. I think Caleb Proctor, who is said Player of the Year in that conference, is one of the best players in the nation. 8 sacks on the year, is a just havoc creator. I think they go on the road and they beat UC Davis and get to the semis. Right. Uh-oh. And so the winner of this bracket plays the winner of what looks like the Tarleton State bracket. Yep, yep, that is correct. So Harvard versus Tennessee Tech. I'm going to go Ivy League on this one. And I'm going to go Harvard. So that's, no, I lied. I'm gonna go Tennessee Tech. So I'm gonna go SLU versus Tennessee Tech. And then I have Montana versus Mercer. I'm gonna go Mercer on this one. I'm gonna go Mercer on this one in an upset. And I'm gonna go Montana State over Lamar. So that's gonna give me Mercer versus Montana State in the semis. Very biased, guys. Go Southeastern over Tennessee Tech. Go Montana State over Mercer. Montana State versus Southeastern. If that happens, vacation plans to Nashville are booked. Baby, I don't know if you hear me. If our alma mater makes it to the national championship, we're going to Nashville. She didn't respond. I don't think she heard me. But anyways, sad to say, my alma mater goes. I will call Chris Grant personally and say, Chris, I need tickets. I will call athletic director Jay Ortiz. I will say, Jay, I need tickets. I'm going. All I need to do is go to give me tickets to the game. I can get the hotel. I can get the flight. I'm there. I'm good. I'm good. Just give me tickets. Have that ready for me. Have sideline passes ready for me. And I'm good. I'm good. If my alma mater mix, I'm acting a fool. Y'all know where I work at. I love ET. I'm trying to build something here. I am. But for all my ET folks that support the podcast, keep supporting. I don't hear y'all on Monday saying he was talking about Southeastern. I got 2 degrees, y'all. Damn. I talk to people every day that work at other institutions, but we still want them to support ET, don't we? All right then. Montana State versus Southeastern. If that is the national, and like y'all know, I'm biased. I'm gonna be sidelined. I'm going line up, baby. Like what? You think I'm gonna have my team make it all the way? Think I'm gonna have my university, my alma mater, where I became a man, where I met the love of my life. I met my brothers for life and Pi Kappa Alpha stand up, baby. You think I'm going to predict them to make it to the national championship game to lose? Oh, get the fuck out of here. Line up Southeastern versus Montana State in an epic upset. We bring a Southland Conference title to Hammond America, or we bring a championship to Hammond America. We bring a championship, a national championship to the Southland Conference. You know, we got 3 teams in. We are second in terms of the amount of teams that have gotten into this playoffs. So if the committee thought highly of us to have 3 of our teams, second most, I think 6. I can't remember who got 6 in, but second most. That means we got to be in the hunt. So whether it's us, whether it's Lamar, whether it's SFA, one of these 3 teams have to be in the hunt for a national title. And why not the Lions of Hammond America? That's who I'm rolling with on that one. That's who I'm rolling with on that one. So Southeastern. Southeastern, mm, 31 to 27. 31 to 27 is the score that I'm rocking with. Line up. Southland versus all y'all. Y'all know the model. We about to get it done. That's how I'm coming. And don't y'all be coming in my comments, especially y'all FCS till you die, folks. And Trey, you are insane. You clearly don't watch enough FCS football. You will be correct in that regard. I largely pay attention to 2 teams. ET, because I'm there every game day. Southeastern. 2 degrees, baby. I gotta pay attention. Helped me launch my career. But I'm in it. I'm in it, y'all. This is my prediction. Y'all be easy on me because I know I got a lot of upsets. I don't even have a Dakota making it to the national championship, which is just blasphemy in itself. I understand that, especially North Dakota. I have the defending champs. I have what they've won 9 of the last 12 national championships, and I have the nerve to have them being upset by little old Southeastern in the second round at home in Fargo. I promise y'all, I'm very sober. I don't take drugs, but I can understand why when someone watches this, they're gonna be like, he must be high, he must be drunk, he must be a something. Because ain't no way you don't not just that you don't have a Dakota in the national championship game. You got the best team losing in the second round. I'm sorry, but you know, I got to go back home, y'all. Right? Emory Alumni Association and donate. I'm a donor too, right? It's home. It is what it is. I'm not sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. You let my alma mater in, and I'm not supposed to pick them. Ugh. Would that be the day? Anyways, y'all know how we end this thing. If there's anything I said that offended anyone, God knows, I know I have. That's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask, honestly, more than I've asked on any at the end of any podcast episode. Please keep it respectful. Peace.